Hi everyone, we are diving back into our pearl exploration. If you missed the previous episodes, go check them out for some crucial background info. You will find the links under this video. Today, we are going to delve deeper and chat about the criteria for assessing pearl quality. So, there are actually several systems for evaluating pearls, and that's where it gets tricky. Honestly, assessing pearls is probably tougher than any other gemstones because the criteria are so not clear. Some might think, for example, that the perfect round pearl would be better than any other ones. However, let's take a look at a photo of Baroque pearls. Notice their irregular shapes? And despite that, some of them are incredibly valuable and highly priced. So among all the classification systems out there, the GIA is probably most respected and recognized worldwide. And fun fact, we use this very lab to certify all our gemstones before they reach you, our dear clients and friends. So rest assured, every gem you get from us comes with its own certification, guaranteed natural, no artificial enhancement. Besides GIA certification and classification system, there is also so-called Chinese and Japanese classification systems, which have some subtle differences. The Chinese and Japanese grading systems are quite similar because the Japanese initially based theirs on the Chinese one, but then they refined it. Today, the Japanese system is very well known thanks to Japan being the trailblazer in pearl cultivation. It's actually named after Mikamoto, the pioneer behind this technology. So, it is totally normal for grading systems to differ a bit since pearls themselves vary so much. Take South Sea pearls, for instance. That's a broad category including pearls from Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, and even Australia. And each region has its own local classification tailored to the pearls produced there. So naturally, there are some differences. However, we still need to know what exactly varies in these classifications. Well, the quality standards, first of all, might be a tad higher or lower for certain categories. Even the names for colors can differ slightly. And let's not forget the acceptable thickness of the nacre layer we talked about in the last episode. If you need a refresher, check the links in the description below. When it comes to GIA's classification, they have got a 7-point system. Pretty thorough, right? The first criterion is, of course, size. Naturally, the bigger the pearl, the higher the price. Both the width and diameter are considered because pearls come in all shapes and sizes, like Baroque pearls, which can be irregular or elongated. So we need to know the length and width to gauge the size properly. Next up, shade. You've got round, near round, drop, oval, and Baroque shapes. You can already see where this is going. Evaluating pearls is no simple task. With pearls, we run into the same challenge as with opals or other semi-organic gems. They are judged more like works of art rather than just stones. So you might have a big round pearl that's not particularly stunning, making it less valuable. And on the flip side, a Baroque pearl with all its quirky twists and turns could be absolutely gorgeous and worth a million. Next, though, what the GIA looks at is color. And we will dive into the color spectrum with some photos in a bit. Obviously, the trendiness, rarity, and beauty of a color can seriously impact a pearl's price tag. Another key factor is luster, or the pearl's shine. We will dive deeper into that a bit later as well, however, just remember it is a thing. And of course, surface quality is another biggie. Speaking of surface quality, pearls can be super smooth and flawless, or they might have some scratches, dents or spots. Naturally, all of that gets factored in too. Next up, we have got the neck layer. Remember, pearls aren't just mother of pearls, there are a few layers involved. And then there is matching, which is all about how well pearls in piece complement each other. Picture a string of 40 pearls. The more uniform they are in color, shade and shape, the pricier they get. And I can tell you, finding pearls that match so perfectly can take years. Let me break down the last criterion for you. Picture this again. Jewelers sometimes spend up to 3 years assembling a perfect pearl necklace, sorting through hundreds of pearls to find the ideal matches. And in these cases, the pearls in the necklace are worth more together than individually sold, thanks to the time and effort put into matching them. The same goes for sets of colored gemstones like emeralds, sapphires, tanzanites, basically anything, because finding natural stones that match in color and shape is a massive challenge. Unlike synthetic or lab-grown gems, where uniformity is a given. And that is why natural pearls are also like snowflakes, each unique in its own way. Beyond each pearl's individual uniqueness, there are regional differences too. For instance, in Tahiti, where those famous black pearls come from, each lagoon produces its own distinct shade. This difference might be subtle, but they are definitely there. Next, we have got freshwater versus saltwater pearls. And saltwater pearls include Akoya, South Sea and Tahitian pearls. Alright, now before diving deeper into classifications, let's tackle color first, because it is the easiest criteria to grasp. Take a look at this picture, please. You can pause or zoom in it if you're on the phone or view it on the computer for a better look. The colors are labeled, but keep in mind, these are just the basics. Because of course there are dozens of sub-hues in each type of the color. For example, let's have a look at the bottom row. We have got here the cream and champagne shades, which are normally less expensive than golden pearls. And when I say golden color, I mean the general name for at least five different shades. Later, we will dive into our video from the pearl farm in Indonesia for a closer look. But for now, I'll just say that the most prized golden hue is what I call old gold. It's rich, dark and insanely saturated. However, if we look at the pure white pearl color, these will be far more valuable than any others in this row. And why? Because the oysters that produce them are especially sensitive, with a low survival rate. Every year, pearl farms shut down due to worsening climate conditions and environmental issues. Unfortunately, this is the sad reason why the prices are driven up so quickly every year. Now, to give you an idea how much more rare these beautiful white pearls are comparing to others at this stage, if you order a necklace with golden pearls, we may try, not we specifically, in general, you might hope for getting maybe 3 to 5 beautiful threads assembled within a year. However, if you request pure white pearls thread, you will be lucky if you get even one done within a year, and that is also not guaranteed that this one will be completed. That's how rarely we find them in the oysters, unfortunately, and the amount of these oysters is decreasing every single year, as I said. Now, you probably already noticed that there is also bluish white and pinkish white pearls in the picture in the bottom row. So these can be even more valuable than pure white. However, the greyish white, not so much. It is often seen as a bit dull and won't fetch a higher price than pure white pearl. Now, the taupe robe with all those vibrant colors is a whole different ball game. It is tough to say which one is pricier there, because those type of the pearls are evaluated individually like a piece of art. So it depends how beautiful, how captivating, how eye-catching the pearl is. So we cannot say like the greenish type of the hue is more expensive, or the purple one is more expensive, or the black one is more expensive. It all depends on individual pearl. Let's continue with classification. There is also a regional classification based on where the pearls come from and their typical shades. For example, Accoya pearls usually have lighter tones like white, cream, might be grayish or bluish, and you will never find black or golden Accoya pearls. Well, at least we have never seen one. Then we have South Sea pearls, which on the other hand range from white to golden, all types of hues in between those two. They can sometimes be mistaken for Accoya, they're white varietals, but neither can be confused with Tahitian pearls, which always come in darker shades like purple, blue, green, grey or black. Now let's get to the shape, which is definitely one of the trickiest aspects in evaluation. A pearl can be perfectly round or not, and that can impact its value in either direction. But how come all the pearls look so different in shape? So if the pearl forms without touching the mollusk's shell, it tends to be round. If its core is in contact with the shell, it tends to be more drop-shaped. And sometimes, when the implant is placed in the muscle of the oyster, irregular shape happen to take place. And finally, if a pearl fuses to the shell's interior lining, it creates a blister pearl, which is the most affordable type. Also, irregular shapes can occur in cashew pearls. These are basically nucleus-free pearls formed when an oyster rejects the implanted nucleus, resulting in a happy accident, a free-form pearl with no set shape. And by the way, a nucleus-free pearl or cashew can form in both freshwater and saltwater mollusks. It is still fascinating though that most pearls tend to be round. There is a theory that as a pearl forms, it warms up inside and rotates inside the mollusks, encouraging a round shape. However, why Baroque pearls, for example, don't become round remains a mystery for me. Speaking of mysteries, another puzzler is why a pearl stops growing inside an oyster. Scientists suggest it's due to a lack of built-in material. But oysters aren't a one-time nacre factory. They can produce multiple pearls, so if a pearl isn't harvested, could it grow indefinitely? I don't have the answer to this yet, but we will definitely explore this when we continue our training at the pearl farms and report back to you. Now, speaking of irregularly shaped pearls, Baroque pearls got their name because they became popular during the Baroque period, when everyone loved ornate, exaggerated forms. Before that, in ancient cultures like Sumer or Greece or Rome, people preferred uniform, symmetrical pearls. It is possible that the shift to Baroque pearls was a way for people to flaunt their wealth and stand out with unique, non-traditional shapes, but that is just a theory. Most likely, Baroque pearls were popular because they were often quite large and interesting in shapes, making them perfect for the bold, extravagant jewelry of the 16th century. Jewelers could really showcase their creativity with these impressive and irregular shapes. Let's take a look at some examples. For instance, there is a Dutch brooch from 1590 called Warrior Among Trophies. And it really does look like a warrior surrounded by various trophies. They have attached legs, arms and head to the pearl, creating a muscular back for this warrior figure. Pretty impressive, right? Here is another example, a 16th century brooch shaped like a seahorse. It is so creative, right? And it's delightful to see how the natural pearl shape blends seamlessly with the artist's details, resulting in a harmonious piece. And here is another unique piece, a Baroque pearl crafted into a lizard shaped with emeralds and enameled gold. And it's stunning and intricate, and I bet this would still be very popular today. It has such an elegant and artistic vibe, and I must compliment separately the work of the enamel master, because that is just a masterpiece. The man really knew what he was doing. Now, after a little break, let's continue exploring our pearl quality criteria. On the photo, you'll see 4 levels of luster or shine. Some pearls are completely matte, resembling porcelain beads, and they are less valuable. Others are so lustrous they look like a drop of mercury, highly reflective and glossy. And naturally, the more lustrous a pearl, the higher its value. Some pearl buyers only deal with the highest luster grades, where, as they tell, they can see the reflection of their own eye in the pearl's surface. And if they can't, the pearl is not up to their standard. But these are ultra glossy pearls, come with a hefty price tag. And personally, I sometimes prefer slightly less reflective pearls because they let you to appreciate the pearl itself, not just its reflection. Otherwise, you're just looking in a round-shaped mirror. And maybe it's a matter of taste, and as we continue working with pearls, our preferences might evolve, but it is what it is at the moment. Officially, the GIA uses 5 luster grades: excellent, very good, good, fair, and poor. From what I understand, you would start seeing your reflection in a pearl with excellent and very good luster. However, even with luster, there are exceptions. Take the Mela pearl, for example. This unique type produced by specific mollusks can fetch hundreds of thousands, sometimes even up to $1 million, and yet it has no luster at all, and that is perfectly normal for this specific type of the pearl. Another important and easy to understand criterion is surface blemishes. As you will see in the video, some pearls have lots of tiny pits and imperfections, while others have very few or none. Our instructor at the farm explained that for a pearl to be considered average to above average quality, you shouldn't see more than 3 spots at a time from any angle. And if you see 1 spot on one side, but then 6 on another, that is not acceptable. In some places, again, 2 spots might be the norm, while in the others, 4 is acceptable. Again, according to the GIA official classification, a pearl in the highest quality category should have either a completely clean surface or just 1 spot. Anything more than that wouldn't qualify for the top tier. And they also have 4 categories based on surface spots number. The highest quality with a clean surface, a few spots, a moderate number of spots, and a large number of spots. Let's take a look at the picture to see what I mean by spots. On the left, where the arrow points, you can see a pearl that is covered in spots and blemishes, looking a bit like a lunar surface. This is considered a lower quality category in terms of surface quality. And on the right, you see a pearl with an irregular shape but only 1 visible spot. Naturally, this pearl would be more valuable. However, if we compare a pearl with a beautiful, expensive golden hue but many spots, and a pearl with a perfect surface but a dull color, the golden pearl with spots would still be more valuable. So between surface quality and color, color is more important. Lastly, it's important to note that luster and surface quality are closely linked. In the photo you can see lustrous pearls with a lovely hue and minimal surface blemishes, and it is rare to find a super shiny pearl with many imperfections, and vice versa, a pearl with high luster usually has a relatively smooth surface. Well, it kinda makes sense, right? A pearl can't shine brightly if it's covered in pits and ridges. Well, I think that is enough for today. I hope you now have a better understanding of pearl quality criteria and what to look for when selecting them. Next time, we will dive into some practical material like sketches from pearl farms and start honing our eye for pearls to apply everything what we have learned from the previous videos. Now take care, and I will see you next time.